Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live stream. This is Tassif here with a special guest, Robert Relph. How are you, Robert?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Uh, thank you for coming to this live stream. I think we're going to have a great discussion here.
Yes, I hope so. That'd be great.
Okay, wonderful. So, thanks to everyone who tuned in to watch this live stream. Please participate in the live chat window. Robert and I will be having a conversation here. I'm going to ask Robert a series of questions on some very important topics, but I will also try to pay attention to the live chat window. So, as you are watching, and this is for the viewers. As you are watching, please ask questions in the live chat window, and I may include a question or two in the discussion. So thanks, everyone, for being here. Robert. Um, mhm.
We grew up in strong values. We grew up in honesty and integrity and public service if they need it. And that's a value that I've always kept close to my heart in the inner city. But I built some coaching basketball for 16 years at the high school
Mhm.
level and 3 at the college level.
Okay. So for those who are watching, you already know this, I think, from the title of the live stream. Robert Relph is running for Wisconsin State Assembly, and he's running in the 80th Assembly District. And for those who may not know this, 80th Assembly District, based on the new maps, 80th Assembly District is the district that I live in. So, Robert, as you are running as a Republican,
It was really tough to see people go through the pandemic, struggle, others or single parents struggling because they just can't afford. It's whether or not to put $20 in the gas tank and buy a few groceries or fill the car with gas and get by on what we have in the cupboard. So again, village of Cross Plains, the town of Cross Plains, I have the city of Verona,
Mhm.
and I have the town of Verona, and I have a part of the west side of the city of Madison, and a little bit of the town of Montrose is what I have.
Democrat heavy county, and it's very hard for Republicans to win an assembly seat here. So, why are you running? You've already explained some reasons, but given the reality that it's a blue county and it's very hard for Republicans to win in this district. So, what do you say to those people who say, "Hey, it's hard to win"?
Well, I think given the state of where we're at, as not only the state of Wisconsin, but countrywide, the United States of America. Right now, there isn't anybody out there that is not having a discussion at their kitchen table or lying in bed at night
Hmm.
or while they're tucking their kids in that isn't suffering from some sort of issues that this
Hmm.
country is facing.
Hmm.
And so if I can help in any possible way to make these families' lives better
Hmm.
than where they're at right now, then I'm doing my job because that's what I'm setting us out to do. Now, yes, I'm in a blue district. I it does lean more blue, and that's obviously what they set out to do when they did the redistricting of the maps. But you know what? I grew up on the east side of Madison. I went to school in Madison. I have I had a great career in Madison for many, many, many years, and I have a great stronghold in Madison. So, the county itself, I think people right now, and and I'm speaking from a lot of people. I'm a basketball coach, and I've got a great winning record. So I'm up for the challenge. I have a great team behind me, a wonderful team behind me,
Mhm.
in
Just take a quick look at the chat window. I can see that our friend Rebecca Witherspoon, uh, said howdy, Bob and Tassif. So she wrote that comment. And Terry Dunlap, who used to be in Greene County, now she lives in South Dakota. Terry Dunlap is also here. And then Badger Den from New York said hello, everyone. And then I see Julie Helmer from Sauk County also uh, tuned in for the live stream. So thank you all for being here. And I'm sure
working really hard on making sure that we're, scheduling and we're in every corner of the 80th district, and we're going to be continuing to make. We've got supporters from when I was in the states, running in the state senate, and I have already many requests for, Bob, when can we get our 4x8 sign? And
yeah.
they want to put it in their farm field, and
Mhm.
or yard signs, and so we have plenty of those on hand. We're just ready to rock and roll. We're hitting the ground.
On maybe some of the other issues that you're hearing.
Well, I think first and foremost, as I've been out in these communities, from getting nomination papers signed, and I'm your representative. And as your representative, it's my job to take care of the 80th district the best way that I know. The young ladies that have been brutally assaulted and killed, um, from the illegal immigrants that have crossed our border. And so border security, I'm definitely hearing a lot of. And people are concerned about their jobs. People are concerned about Social Security. People are concerned about whether or not, are we giving these handouts to people on our dime, and they're not coming in the legal way. Um, and Madison and especially Wisconsin, we've been classified as one of those sanctuary cities and states, and so people are worried about that, and they're very concerned.
Yeah. There,
Um,
there, there are so many different issues um, that I mean, state level issues as well as what you mentioned with the border, because that's affecting every community in America. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing what you're hearing. And let me just ask you, what are some issues that you plan to work on if elected to the Wisconsin State Assembly?
the things that I want to work on for sure is education. Um, I think we're focusing right now, some the current administration, we are so focused on higher education, which, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with that. We need that. But right now, taking the trades, things like that out of schools, I plan to partner with a lot of the school districts that I have in my district,
Hmm.
and try to keep the trades in the schools. We are always going to need electricians. We're always going to need carpenters. We're always going to need people to fix our cars. Those are huge, important things. Plumbers, people that do concrete work, people to build our roads. So I think the trades is getting kind of a raw deal when it comes down to some of this, and so keeping the trades in the schools, and it gives some of the kids in high schools, it gives them an outlet. It gives them, they can learn a skill. And let me tell you, the pay is great. The compensation, I mean, I know a lot of people that have went to 4 6 years of university, got a double degree, and are working road construction. I mean, there are some great careers out there that, if the guidance counselors and if they worked with some of these kids on developing a skill,
Hmm.
I would like to work on, I have several things in what I call my first 100 days that I would like to work on. So putting the trades into schools and developing an apprenticeship while in high school and having that incentivized to where businesses could cooperate and we could all sit and collaborate on, the best avenue that to where they're like, hey, that's a good idea. I think it could work. So working on alleviating some of that tax burden that's out there for people, especially people that are over the age of, retirement age, over the age of 65.
Hmm.
I don't believe that, they don't need they shouldn't be paying property taxes any longer. If you've owned your home for a certain amount of time and your home is your home, and I just think that we can do a lot better with that and in a lot of different ways. Um, I'd also like to work better with childcare.
Hmm.
Child Right now, I mean, the cost of childcare for just one child, far a family that has 2 or 3, and right now, because of the
Hmm.
economy, obviously, and they're having to pay those extra. I mean, they just can't keep up, and unfortunately, the farmer is forced to either sell or, give up their farm and into renting it to somebody else to farm.
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned some great points. You talked about education and the different pathways that are available. Somebody could go pursue higher education or so is that something you're going to look at? I mean, small communities are really struggling because of inflation and high cost in general.
For the town of Cross Plains, when it comes snow time, when, they have an old second plow truck that they use, but they have one person that manages so many miles of roads in the town of
Hmm.
Cross Plains, and there's a
Hmm.
lot of farms, there's a lot of roads, and so it's tough for one person uh, to manage. So they can't hire him another person full time, um, for year round.
Hmm.
But the cost that the communities are facing, whether it's, economic development, the tax at issue, I mean, and it could be, lumped into that, but, um, or different things for, the retirement. So the retention in some of the small towns for the, police officers and the ones that are out there trying to keep us safe at night, making sure that all the streets are quiet so you and I could have this conversation right now in the 80th district. Um, but the levy limits right now are just insane, and it's really too bad, and I really plan on digging into that hard. I know I've been talking very, very closely with the different town boards in which my constituents live.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. And
They do that. Um, but as far as challenges, you know, it's just getting some of the other party to be able to listen to your message
Mhm.
first and foremost, and getting them to understand that not only are we, um, but it's getting people out to the polls and it's getting them out to vote, because that's how we're going to be able to save Wisconsin. That's how we're going to be able to save America. And that's how we're going to be able to turn this around.
Yeah. In the process of electing our representatives. Um, so let me ask you. There's an incumbent in the 80th district. Um, that's Assemblyman Mike Baer. And
Hmm.
so, would you like to have a debate with the incumbent, who's a Democrat?
That wouldn't bother me one bit. That wouldn't
Okay.
bother me one bit. My message is firm and strong, and
Hmm.
I know that I'm the best candidate for the job, and I know that I will do a great job for the entire district. I will not single anybody out. Like I said before, everybody deserves a seat at the table, and I will be that person. And I know he's in a hard primary,
Hmm.
um, but whoever comes through the primary, I would gladly shake their hand and definitely have that conversation. And um, if it comes down to uh, a great moderated
To uh, the Democratic candidate from the district regarding a debate.
I certainly I probably will at some point. Obviously after the primary.
Hmm.
We right now we've been just focusing on getting out and getting in front of the people, because
Hmm.
they're the ones that really matter in this. And
Right.
so getting out and talking to the voters right now is our number one task. And so after August, when whoever comes through that, um, I have a lot of great support from people that are current legislators, people that are in public safety,
Hmm.
um, from school principals, school teachers. I'm very confident in this assembly race.
Hmm.
You, you know, you as I running for state senate when I did, um, I probably didn't have the name recognition, and I tried to get out and meet as many people as I could. We had over 30,000 votes, but I definitely plan on uh, working, very hard to connect with all the voters, and however, in whatever way and fashion that is, we certainly will do so.
Okay. I always think that having debate, between candidates, that's very important. Obviously, we pay a lot of attention, people in general, to the presidential debate, and then when Senate candidates debate. But it's very important, I think, to have debates for in when candidates are running for state assembly or state senate. I think it's very important to have debates, in a public forum, so that people can ask questions, and whoever the Democrat candidate is who wins the
Hmm.
primary. I think that'd be great.
Right, right.
Um, so you previously ran for state senate in 2022. You mentioned
Hmm.
that, which was a midterm year, and
Yeah.
that was a very important election year in Wisconsin. Um, but that was a midterm year. But now you're running for assembly in a presidential year. And people say that Democrat voter turnout can be,
There's so many people that are just eager for change.
yeah, lots of independent voters too. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So let me ask you, um, did you watch the debate yesterday, the presidential debate?
I did. Yes, I did.
I
Right.
have another question for you. Um, so, who do you think Trump?
Been in office for over 40 years, your whole entire life. You were the youngest, they even said it in the debate at the end
Mhm.
in his closing arguments, when it came down to the age issue. He was one of the youngest, and now he's one of the oldest. Well, if you couldn't fix things, if you couldn't make things happen and fix things before, what makes you think that you could do it now?
Mhm.
So, um, as far as the VP pick, I think that I kind of have a top two that I think that it would be, but um, it definitely needs to be somebody strong. It needs to be somebody that can connect with the voters. It needs to be somebody that's going to be able to um, ditto President Trump's policies, and I think that we all kind of sit on a lot of those right now, as far as the border's concerned, and the proper way to come in the country, and um, because we all well, I mean, I
Convention, which is going to be taking place right here in our state, in the city of Milwaukee. So
yep,
I
yep,
am eagerly waiting to find out who Donald Trump picks for VP. Uh,
yes,
yeah. So Robert, thank you so much for you know joining this live stream and for having this discussion. I do want to ask you another question. Um, if people want to learn more about your campaign,
yes.
where should they look? Do you have a website? Do you have social media presence? Would you just talk about that?
Yep. So if you want to go to my Facebook page, it's Ralph for Wisconsin, um, and we also have the website is up, and it's a beautiful website. It's a great website, and it's growing all the time. And that's Robert. That's actually www.ralph for Wisconsin, all one word, .com.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. Um, I don't have any more questions, but I do want to ask you if you have anything else you want to add before we conclude.
Um, first, it's been an honor, obviously, talking with you, and I
Thank you.
enjoy every opportunity that you and I get to exchange words along the way. Um, but you know, one of the things that I want to convey to the voters is that when I was a firefighter and when I was training and going to school to be a firefighter, we were trained to get in the house and put the fire out. And that's what I did for 17 years. Running for office, it's about who's going to represent the 80th district. And like I said, right now, Mike Bear is my person that is representing me in the assembly. Um, and do I think that he's doing a good job? I w- I don't. But I want everybody to know that I have their back. I will have their back.
Thank you so much. Thank you for those. Um, we've discussed some very important things. Obviously, you talked about yourself and your background and why you're running for office and what you would like to do in the first 100 days. You talked about education, workforce, tax burden, childcare, the importance of family farms, the importance of small businesses. You've talked about your priorities and some of the challenges that you're facing and your desire to go out and meet more people and to connect with the voters. So thank you for sharing all of that and for sharing your thoughts about the importance of picking the right VP. I think I'm eagerly waiting for that, so we'll find out soon. um,
Yes.
and thank you for sharing your website information and how people can find you and connect with you on the internet. So, with that, I also want to thank everyone who joined today for this live stream and everyone who participated in the chat window and wrote questions and comments. So, thank you so very much. Robert Relph, running for Wisconsin, and lots to discuss. Thank you so much. Thank you, Robert. Wish you all the best.
You as well.
Good
Thank you.
night.